Coming up next on the Commissioner's Report, Commissioner Dantzler will be joined by Folsom Construction representatives. We'll discuss the economic and community impact for the county, and later on we'll find out what's going on at the Central Florida Development Council. We are watching the Commissioner's Report. Watching the Commissioner's Report, and Commissioner Todd Dantzler is here. Commissioner, thank you for joining us this morning, and would you tell me who your special guest is today?
Kevin, it's an honor to be here again, talking about different economic development engines and economic development partners that we have here in Polk County. With us today is a good friend of mine, Susan Limehouse, who is Assistant Project Manager with Folsom Construction, and she's going to tell us a little bit about her company. They are investors in the Central Florida Development Council, and talk about the company, what they do, and give us a little information about it. So I'm glad that I was able to reconnect with Susan a couple of months ago, and she's a horrible golfer, but a beautiful, but a beautiful person.
Well, welcome, Susan. So tell me a little bit about the history of Fulsome.
Folsom Construction is a family-owned business. It was started in 1972 by Hubert Fulsome. It was then taken over by his son, Larry Fulsome, who's now our Director of Construction. And then it was taken over by Michael Fulsome, our current president. We're a construction management firm. We specialize in industrial to commercial work.
But you do big projects, and you can do smaller ones, but there's really nothing out of your scope.
A small interior remodel to a $100 million industrial project.
Oh, wow. And so you've been around for 4 decades, and I was reading through some information that I received before as I was doing a little stalking of Folsom, and it says you guys have completed more than 1,000 commercial projects right here in Polk County. That's a lot.
Yes, it is.
But you don't just work in Polk County. I mean,
No, we right now have projects going on in Albany, Georgia, all over.
All across the state.
Yes.
Okay.
Right.
And go ahead.
And there's really nothing that you don't do. I mean, you've done the tax collector's office, you've done car dealerships, you've done institutional. So it's really a wide-ranging company that does a little bit of everything.
Right.
Right, and that leads me into my next question. What are some of the landmark projects that you've completed here in Polk County?
We've done 3 of the tax collector offices for Joe Petr, the Haines City, Bartow, and Lake Wales. We've done the Sheriff's Command Center in Davenport.
And that's a really lovely facility. I've been there, and it's really nice.
Yes, it is.
You want to be there as a guest, not as a...
That is true. Very, very true, Commissioner. So one of the projects that I know many people know about was the Florida's first net zero impact building. You want to tell me a little bit about that?
That was the Magnify Credit Union. We built that back in 2009. It's 100% solar powered.
Is that the one on 540A?
540A,
okay.
Yes. Connected to the Brewster's ice cream shop.
Someone likes ice cream?
No, it just looks like that.
We've done Lighthouse Ministries in Lakeland, many of the Ruthven warehouses, several projects for Florida Southern College. We're continually doing work with them. This summer we're doing several remodels. Over the summer when the students are out, when the dorms are closed, we go in there and remodel them for them, just small projects.
What about the relationship with the Polk County government? What's that like?
It's great. We're very active in the county. Michael Folsome believes in giving back in any way possible.
They've been a great corporate partner to Polk County and to the different municipalities. They give back so much to the community through their philanthropic efforts while maintaining an outstanding workforce and an outstanding company background.
And I know business development is very important to the county, and you want to talk a little bit why that is?
Right. Economic development is all about jobs, creating jobs and creating capital investment. And that's what the CFDC's job is to work towards bringing companies in with jobs. If we recruit a company, a building probably needs to be built, or we need to find one for them. And So that's part of the partnership with Folsom, that's part of the partnership with the other investors in the county and the CFDC, is how we can all work together. They're a piece of the puzzle, just like the other investors are a piece of the puzzle. As we bring these companies in, as we help our existing companies grow from within, it's important that they have quality construction, quality payroll systems, quality bankers that are there to help them grow and help them invest back into our community.
Folsom Construction not only builds buildings, commercial buildings, but it also, I see, you're involved in historic renovations as well.
Yes. We're very familiar with many of the historic buildings around Lakeland, downtown Lakeland especially. We've done many of them. Harry's restaurant in downtown Lakeland, we redid that years ago, and then just recently we redid their entire kitchen, and the restaurant was only closed for 2.5 weeks. We went down into the dirt, basically started from dirt and I went back up. They were, like I said, only closed for 2.5 weeks.
Yeah, and you guys work very fast. And I see you have a nice little packet here, and it has so many references from a lot of businesses. I mean, you've done stuff at some of the universities in the area. The Publix warehouse is another one of them. Again, Commissioner did say about the Shelves Command Center, even Lighthouse Ministries. I mean, you guys are involved in so many projects here. It's just amazing. The job that you guys are doing.
One of the projects you mentioned was Publix. I think it was a 650,000 square foot warehouse, about $100 million project. And that's great for Folsom, but it's even greater for Polk County because of the job and the economic impact that it brings for the county and for the city of Lakeland. It's just phenomenal what one building can do to change a whole lot of lives.
So there's an award that Folsom Construction recently received. Do you want to tell me about the award?
That was in 2014.
Right.
Michael received the Philanthropic Award for giving back to the community for a small business standpoint.
And that was awarded by the Association of Fundraising Professionals of Greater Polk County.
Right.
So that's quite an honor. That it just shows you what this company does to give back to the community, that it's not all about taking dollars out, it's about giving back to the community. And I think that's one of the great things about this family company is how they give back to their local community.
Mm-hmm. So I know they've been involved with giving back to the Lighthouse Ministries and other organizations. You want to tell me some of the other organizations Folsom has given back to?
We give back to help small businesses start, such as 1961, a restaurant on South Florida Avenue opened by Chef Marcos, a Copper Penny Salon that just opened on South Florida Avenue also. We've donated various projects helping them open.
You're very involved in the Rotary Clubs, Special Olympics, SPCA.
Pace Center for Girls.
Right. So they really are a company that walks the walk and talks the talk. They give back to their local community, and that's what you really value in a business that doesn't just take, they give back. And Folsom has been a great partner in Polk County and in Lakeland for 40 some odd years now, and it's just a joy to have them as a member of the Central Florida Development Council, and it's an honor to have them in Polk County helping to build and create economic development, jobs, and capital improvement and investment.
So, do you mind telling me a little bit about Michael Fulsome?
Yes, Michael is a third-generation Lakelander. He was obviously born and raised here in Lakeland. He believes in giving back to the community in many ways. He was the past president of Platform Art here in Lakeland, the Ducks Unlimited, Rotary Club. He's very active in the community. He started obviously, with his grandfather and father in the construction business, and after he graduated college, he went off and worked for a larger firm and then came back and worked with Folsom Construction. He started his own Folsom Construction Management 3 years ago, and his father works for us as chairman and director of construction.
And what about your specific role in the company? How do you fit in the mix?
I started about 2.5 years ago as a project coordinator. I'm now assistant project manager. I work with pre-construction services and project management services. I'm very hands-on with every aspect of the company. We're kind of a smaller firm, so everybody works together as a team on every project. We all work together from start to finish.
And your job is to help incorporate everyone together to make sure the project flows as smoothly as possible, correct? Is that
Right.
kind of what you do? Is you're not tied to any one specific duty. You're kind of a jack of all trades that, well, hey, today I need to do this, tomorrow I need to do
Exactly.
this. And that's kind of the role that I think Susan fills with Folsom. And I'm glad that you've been with them for 2 years. And
And I mean, you say the company's small, but at the same time, you guys have managed to oversaw so many projects. Again, we mentioned it earlier, more than 1,000 projects. That is a lot of projects to have been involved in. I mean, that's a huge deal in my opinion.
And some builders, they just specialize in one particular thing. Folsom, I think they have a very wide range of projects that they do, from churches to automobile dealerships to other type projects in the county and around the state as well. And I think that's what makes them such a great contributor to our area, is that they do so many great things for us. And I made a crack about Susan's golf game before, so I need to clarify that. I played in a scramble with her, and she took her first golf lesson the morning we played. So it's not like she was. So she had an excuse for doing it, but she made a great putt on the 18th hole for us that made a birdie for us. So
Yes,
that was
I
good.
did.
That was a great
Thanks
contribution.
for remembering that.
I can't forget it.
But yeah, I'm again looking through some of the projects you've completed. Again, car dealerships. We're looking at just regular commercial buildings. You're also you've been involved with many churches. I saw there's a long list of churches. The First Baptist Church of Easton Park. There's the St. James Catholic Church. There's Parkview Baptist Church. There's the Holy Spirit Catholic Church, All Saints. There is the Assembly of God Apartments. There's the Providence Baptist Church. There's the Reynolds Road Baptist Church, Mount Olive. And I'll just list some of the historic renovations that Fulsome oversaw or was involved in. There's the Lakeland Center, which is now called the City Center block. That's on 101 West Main Street. And there's also on Kentucky Avenue, there's the Marble Arcade building. There's also over on the North Kentucky, on the west to 301 East Main Street. South is the Bryant block. There's also the Westminster United Presbyterian Church. A lot of well-known historic sites. Again, the tax collector's office and schools. I mean, the list just goes on and on and on. I mean, this over 1,000 projects. I just can't believe that. That's a lot.
Right, and if you look at who their projects are for, I mean, you see Publix, they jump out at us because they're one of the great partners we have here. But there's a $95 million freezer dairy expansion. There's some Markets Produce and Banana Room at $10.5 million. So you can just go on. They've built for Badcock, they've built for Ruthven, some of the great institutional companies that we have here in Polk County. Folsom has been right there on the ground floor.
So it doesn't matter the size of the project. Folsom is there to do so much. You can take on almost anything.
Right.
So
We pride ourselves in completing within budget and on schedule on all of our projects.
And safety is a huge concern for your company too. That
Extremely.
seems like that's right in the forefront of any project y'all take on, is to make sure that everyone arrive safe and leave safe at the end of the day.
Oh, absolutely. And it's even again the budget. How important is that? Commissioner Dantzler, how important keeping to that budget
Absolutely.
is.
And they've built they've built a number of buildings for the county from different constitutionals, and they were picked for a reason. They on time and under budget, and that's very important. When we award contracts, that's what happens, that we don't run into those problems, because we're trying to be good stewards of the taxpayer's dollar. And we don't want to select a contractor or any vendor that is notoriously over budget. If some things happen, obviously you deal with that, but just to bid something low and know you're going to make it up on change orders or whatever, that's not a good way to do business. It's not a good business plan for folks and vendors doing business with the county or any local government for that matter.
Thank you, Commissioner Dantzler and Susan, for joining us here on the Commissioner's Report. Any last thoughts?
I want to thank Susan for being here. I know this is kind of out of her element, so I appreciate you being here, and it's a pleasure being on one of your first shows. Welcome to the Commissioner's Report. It's been a pleasure today, so thank you.
Thank you for having me, Todd.
Absolutely. We're glad you said yes. And again, it's not a natural thing for you to do, but we do appreciate you coming out, taking the time, and talking about Folsom and what you do and what they do for the county.
It's a great company. I love it there.
Yes.
Perfect. Well, stay tuned. We do have more Commissioner's Report coming up right after this.
The inherent right to work is one of the elemental privileges of a free people. Endowed, as our nation is, with abundant physical resources, and inspired as it should be to make those resources and opportunities available for the enjoyment of all, we approach re-employment with the real hope of finding a better answer than we have now.
Donate to Goodwill, where your donations help fund job placement and training for people in your community.
So, same time next week?
Well, of course. Put away a few bucks, feel like $1 million. For free tips to help you save, go to Feed the Pig.
Welcome back to this part of the Commissioner's Report, and we have some special guests that's now joined us. We first have David Petr. He is the President and CEO of the Central Florida Development Council, and he's also joined by the Director of Investor Relations, that's Mogan Holmes. Welcome to the Commissioner's Report.
Thank you
so
for
much
having
for
us.
having us.
Appreciate it.
So, David, tell me, what does your organization do?
Well, we're looking to expand local business and bring new opportunities to Polk County. So if there's any business that wants to do business in our fine state of Florida, we want them to be within our 2,000 square miles here in Polk County. So in addition to recruiting that business, we're going to try to facilitate development for companies that are already here. And we could do that through access to capital, workforce training, through helping with permitting, really a variety of tools that could help that local business expand and create new jobs and new capital investment.
And what about your role? What does it involve?
Sure. My role is to engage the local business community and understand what our local businesses are, what services our local businesses can offer to new companies coming into Polk County, and to make sure that we're making smart connections between our existing business community and the new companies who are interested in coming to Polk County.
Excellent. So, what are some of the projects you all have been working on?
In addition to business development, we're working on several other key areas at the CFDC, and that includes small community development, helping that small community get a project that's important to them. Sometimes that's a grocery store or a gas station, not necessarily a huge Walmart distribution center. So we're being good listeners, understanding what our small communities need. We're also working on a marketing program to tell that Polk County story outside of Polk County, as well as within our borders, so people know that the CFDC exists and what we do to help facilitate business. We're working on international trade program to increase our volume of exports, as well as an access to capital program. So we're very, very busy at the CFDC looking to create new jobs and new capital investment.
And we just recently had a board retreat with our commissioners and stuff, and I understand that you had a presentation. Would you like to share with us kind of some of the key points that you did speak about?
Yeah, I'll speak a little bit, and then I'll let Morgan tell you a little about how she's doing on the investor relations front. But what we wanted to do at the board retreat was really share the excitement that we have for Polk County. It's a wonderful time for Polk County. A lot of prosperity is coming our way. We've recorded record numbers in job creation and capital investment over the last 2 years, thanks to our local EDC partners, our chamber partners, as well as our partners at the county. So it's really exciting. And I really set the tone that day, conveying to the commissioners that we're all working together to do great things for our county. I went through our scope of work for the year and then answered a few of the more difficult questions, although I asked Morgan to answer the really hard ones. But we had a great dialogue with our commissioner partners and assured them that their support is working for us. And Morgan, do you want to talk about your role in in investor work?
Sure.
Yeah.
So because we operate, we are private. We work with the county. Is obviously it continues to be our biggest investor, our biggest support. But we also bring in private investment, and that's part of engaging the local community is bringing in private support so we can continue to do the great work that the CFDC is doing to bring in those businesses and to create those marketing opportunities for the county. So part of my report at the board retreat was to talk a little bit about the growth in our investor base, the growth in the private investors that we've seen. And we've seen investor growth in a range of industries and a range of different types of businesses. We actually have investors coming in from outside the county who are interested in, they see the potential in Polk County, they see the exciting things that are coming here, and they want to be a part of it, and they want to kind of get a foothold in the county and understand the community and what's going on. So.
And from what I understand, you also have kind of a pretty big thing going on. You're about to move.
Yeah.
So want to tell me about that?
It's really the last step in our transition from being a public-private organization to being a private company. As you know, on October 1st of last year, we became a private organization supported mostly by Polk County, as well as our investor base, as Morgan described. So with that transition became a lot of new opportunities to be a private company. It was new employees, it was new healthcare, new 401k, new computers. Everything became private at that point. But the one thing we haven't accomplished yet that we'll accomplish in the coming weeks is a new location for our office. And we really sought out a location that offered us the connectivity throughout the county. We wanted to make sure that we could access all parts of the county easily. And we also wanted to make it an office that had some stature, that had a presence to it. So when we brought a prospect there, they were impressed by not only the location, but the office. And I think we found a great location. It's actually very close to where we are today, just north of here, about perhaps 5 or 10 miles on Hillside Heights Drive in South Lakeland or North Bartow off of 98. So it's really going to give us wonderful access throughout the county to our international airports and it'll allow us to do our job very well.
And if people want to find out more about your organization, how do they do so?
Yeah.
They can go to cfdc.org and check out our website. We have media that shows the work we're doing, some of the different projects that have come to Polk County, and it highlights our investor group and the great work that they're doing. And that's really, in telling the CFDC and the Polk County story, we're really doing that through the eyes of our investors, because our companies here are really a great resource to market Polk County. We have so many great folks here who are doing great work in so many different interesting industries, and that's really highlighted, I think, on the website.
Mm-hmm. And you're about to also do a bit of a branding thing as well.
Yep.
The last year and a half we've spent really making our website very robust and strong through analytics and data and real estate and information. So now that we have that in place, we have a place for people to visit once they see our marketing. Now we're going to really think about how we tell that Polk County story. And as Morgan alluded to, we really want to develop a campaign that's peer-to-peer marketing, so a CEO can understand another CEO's story. It's one thing for me or Morgan to talk about the benefits of Polk County or the CFDC, but it's another for them to hear about a business that's already being successful here. So we're going to do a lot of investor highlights through our marketing program and be really smart about how we do it. We're looking to do marketing in airport terminals, perhaps in Orlando, Tampa, perhaps outside the market. We'll do print advertising, social media, the nuts and bolts of collateral. You know, if you can imagine the collateral that has to happen when you go to trade shows, you'll have a logistics piece or an agriculture piece or a medical piece that really talks about why you want to do business in Polk County. But we're going to do that through compelling narrative, through striking visuals, and really tell the Polk County story in a way that it hasn't been told before.
Okay, so you guys are moving. You guys are rebranding. What else is going on?
You know, I think another very interesting program that began about 6 months ago is an Access to Capital program, and that was started by a former chairman, Leonard Mass, who had the idea about 6 months ago to find a way to employ some economic development money to help that small business or that entrepreneur get off the ground. While we like to recruit business to our county, we also know the true success of job creation is going to happen from within our borders. And sometimes that company needs $5,000, $10,000, $25,000 just to buy a piece of equipment, to do initial training, whatever that is, just to accelerate their growth a little bit. So this committee is very much in its formation. We're still defining what the program looks like, but we're hopeful by fall to launch this program that lets that entrepreneur have an opportunity to be successful.
So why Polk County?
Polk County has the blessing of location. Ideally situated between Orlando and Tampa, we're geographically blessed. We have 9 million people within 100 miles of our location where we're sitting today. So if you look at the talent, you look at the connectivity, we have an international airport 1 hour to the east, 1 hour to the west. We've got 3 deep water seaports. We've got space to the east. We've got amazing quality of life. We've got a pro-business county commission, pro-business governor. Everything is aligned for success in Polk County. We've got, as you know, available land, and we have just wonderful opportunity. The list goes on and on. If you look at what site selectors think is their top 3, it's about the quality of the workforce and the highway accessibility, and we really are strong in both of those areas.
Yeah, we've got the I-4 corridor just runs right through and everything.
Absolutely.
Right. So, anything else you guys want to add?
You know, I think the success of the CFDC comes from the partners we have in the county, and we do not work in a vacuum. As Morgan talked about, our strongest supporter is the county, whether that's the county commission or it's the staff at the county or our county manager, have been wonderfully pro-business and supportive of our efforts. Add to that our layer of investors, our board of directors, as well as our community EDC partners in our chamber. We're all working together. We're all working in alignment to drive success for Polk County, and that's what's exciting for Morgan and I and the rest of our staff.
Thank you, David. Thank you, Morgan, for joining us.
Thank you very much for having us today.
Thank you so much.
That is it for this edition of the Commissioner's Report. Next month, we'll be back again.
Wait! Thanks. Running late? Yeah, traffic was rough this morning. Crisis averted. No crisis, just a little traffic. But what if there had been a lot of traffic? Everyone needs a backup plan. Just like every company needs a business continuity plan. What just happened? Could be a blackout. Completely unpredictable. Where did you get that? It's important to start your business continuity planning early. How long can you operate without core systems and processes? What if your entire network went down? No communications means no sales and lost customers. Why isn't this thing working? Finally. Recovery's good, but 75% of companies without continuity plans fail within 3 years. Who's in charge during a disaster? Like a fire? Identifying teams and assigning tasks is essential. Everyone needs to know their responsibilities. What's going on? It could be a hurricane. Hurricane? Weather can badly damage your assets. Planning better prepares your company to recover from any disruption. Why aren't you getting wet? Not everyone's under the same umbrella. It's important to test, update, and exercise your preparedness measures. So, can we share? No. A business continuity plan for one company won't fit another. That's why it's important for everyone to develop their own plans. Why are you wearing a mask? Don't forget to plan for the human element. Contingency planning should go beyond natural disasters. Plan for man-made threats, too. Oh, come on. Great. Hey, let me out. Will your continuity plan be in place when it matters most?
They said a bottle was just a bottle. That no one would ever notice me. But I knew I could be more. That one day, I would make people smile.